Hey everybody, Adam here. Just want to tell you some very exciting news. Our guest this week, Dr. Shira Bush, the book creator, is holding a very special event on Monday night. And she wants to invite everyone that watches Kim and I and watches our show, as well as your friends and anyone else interested in becoming an author of a real hardcover book without writing a word. Dr. Shira Bush is the book creator, and her slogan is How to Become an Author in 90 Days Without Writing a Word. And it has nothing to do with ghostwriting, it has to do with your own words, but not you having to write them. And to find out more, you really need to attend her special Monday night conference. I will put the link to that conference and all the pertinent information into the description of our video with Dr. Bush. And this will be distributed to a lot of other locations so that you all know that on Monday night, you'll have the opportunity to ask Dr. Bush all about how you're going to become the author of your own story, how you can have your own hardcover real book listed on Amazon and on the Amazon bestseller list, so that you can open the doors that being an author opens for you. So again, that's Monday evening. The time, everything will be listed in the description box below this video. Please enjoy Kim and I talking with the book creator herself, Dr. Shira Bush. Hey everybody, this is Adam Strum, and we're about to go cruising into a better financial future with your host, Kim Cruz. Hey everybody, Adam Strum here, and it's time to go cruising into a better financial future with your host, Kim Cruz.
Thanks, Adam. I am Kim Cruz. I'm a wife, a mom, daughter, sister, friend, entrepreneur, and business owner of Cruz Credit Consulting, but not necessarily in that order. I have over 30 years experience in corporate America and a passion for helping people succeed in all areas of life. And I am joined by my great friend, Adam Strum. He's actually the brains behind this production.
I guess so. I don't know. I think I'm a small part, a cog in the big wheel. I'm Adam Strum, 15 years in corporate America, 5 years working with corporate America, and the last 13 years fighting against corporate America. I own On Target Strategies, a business consulting firm. I am a co-CEO of USFA, which you can see here behind me, which is US Financial Alliance, helping people get out of debt, get their finances in order, helping businesses get out of debt and become profitable again. And that's why I'm here with you every single week.
Yep. And together with our tips, tricks, and resources, we help our audience cruise into a better financial future.
Excellent. We have a really special guest. We have something different today. Normally, we talk directly about either how a business finances itself and how it keeps itself going, or we talk about personal finance and credit and loans. But we've gone the last 3 weeks talking about business mostly and helping businesses. And we have a special guest today who's going to talk about how being published can help open doors for your entrepreneurship, for your business. Her name is Dr. Shira Bush. She is the book creator. And before I let her speak, I'm going to run a small video of her speaking to a large audience a couple of years back.
You're wet. You're soaking wet, dripping, just dripping, dripping wet. As you're sitting there looking at your computer screen, watching it very, very carefully. And all of a sudden, it's 11:59. And your book just made it to #1 on the Amazon bestseller list.
And here she is, Dr. Shira Bush.
So excited to have you, Dr. Shira, on.
Thank you, Kim. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Adam, both of you for asking me. I am really, truly excited. You guys do some great work for a lot of people, and
Well,
I'm
thank
glad
you.
that you're getting the name out there and that people are coming and utilizing your services, because right now, with everything going on, you are in great need, both of you. So thank you for supporting the community like you do.
The entire country is in the process of rebuilding from a devastating economic disaster over the past year. People are not feeling it the same way they did 2008. It's insidious. It's the foundation that everybody's credit is built on has crumbled, and it doesn't
Exactly.
mean that you notice it in your day-to-day life.
Mhm.
But when you go to get a new loan or you go to buy a house, you're finding it's a little harder than it was 6 months ago. And
Mhm.
that's because the foundation is shaky and banks are very sketchy about loaning. We had an article a couple of weeks ago that talked about how they're just randomly closing people's accounts, their
Mhm.
credit
Mhm.
accounts, and lowering them
Wow.
in order to mitigate risk.
Right.
So yeah, people are flooding into us asking all kinds of questions. And I want to make something clear before we get into this week's article of the week. Kim and I don't have a ton of viewers at this point in time. We have very loyal viewers, but not a ton of them. I wanted to let people know when I talk about all the questions we get, it's because I actually put out surveys all over the place constantly. So the questions are not just from the viewers of our videos. The questions are questions that come into Kim's company, my company, and all the surveys that my marketing firm On Target Strategies does. And that's why we have the library of questions we have, because the questions come from different sources, not just from our YouTube channel. Because I
Right.
got asked this by somebody recently, hey, you only have 172 views of all your videos combined. How do you have 12,000 questions? Are you lying? I'm like, I don't lie. I have more than 12,000 after asking last week when Clark, Shira, you know Clark Pattison, the captain?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
he
I
was
know,
on. He was
Clark.
on last week, and when Clark was on with us last week, I made an ask for more questions, and we got several hundred questions in this week.
Wow.
So after
Yeah.
combing through them, we picked some that are specifically tailored to what you do and how you help people. Why don't you just, before we go into the article of the week, go ahead and introduce yourself by what you do?
Well, I'm known as Dr. Shira Bush, the book creator, To the Stars, where we make you the star and unleash your celebrity by you becoming an author in 90 days without writing a word.
Wow, that is amazing. And I'm so
Yes,
excited
it
to hear
is.
you talk more about it. Yeah.
Okay, well, the questions that I picked from people all over the country are going to lead you through how you get that done. I promise. I was very careful to pick questions that will help you explain exactly how that process happens. But Kim has a really good article of the week for this week, and I want to dive into that before we get started.
And I'm especially excited about this article because it was actually given to me by a previous guest we had on, Mr. Andre Baraka. He is a financial planner with World Financial Group. And we got so many views on that particular episode, and he is such a wealth of knowledge. I love that conversation that we had about finances being sexy. So he actually forwarded this to me and said, I think that this would be a great article. And it comes from The Street, and it is best advice for women starting to invest and save for retirement. And it's perfect, especially with what Adam and I do. We truly help the women's movement and help them get their finances in order. And we have so many women that come to us and tell us, I don't know what to do with my finances. I need a path. Where do I start? And it starts out with two of the most critical things that women can do when they start earning money. And one is to learn as much as possible about money, including the the benefits that your employer offers. And we had a whole segment on the 401k plan and how most people don't understand what that is or how they can benefit from it.
Yep,
So
Amber told us a lot about how that works.
yep, exactly. So that was one of the things. And the second thing is to start saving for retirement as soon as you start earning money. 10% of savings into a tax preferred savings account like an employer plan or an IRA. but you need to educate yourself on how you can set up the best possible financial future for you. And then it also goes into talking about how women generally are more knowledgeable in the areas of finances. However, it's a male dominant industry and they lack the self-confidence in the financial industry. But when they're presented with questions, if they have a question which can be answered with "I don't know," that's how they'll answer it. But if they have a multiple choice question of answers, they usually hit it
Nail on the
spot
head.
on.
Yep.
Yep, and they get the answers right. So I thought it was a really good article, especially for women that are looking to find what they should do with their finances.
See, I agree after reading the article. First, you have to learn the basics of finance. And women learn the basics of finance better than men do, but they're shy about talking about it,
Mhm.
like you were saying. And the studies have shown this, and there's no reason for it. I talk about this all the time. And Shira, you don't know this, but Kim and I, our philanthropic thing, there are two things we do. We're very heavy into the women's empowerment movement. I'm one of the few males who's been invited to join 2 women's empowerment Facebook groups. And it's because I support all the women in my life, whether they're friends, family, does not matter. I give
can
them my
attest
full,
to that more times than
they
I
get
care
my
to
full
count.
support, and I ask very little, if anything, in return, because I just want to see you all succeed, because you've been held back way too long. I know this from my days at Verizon, where they would let most of the women make it to high managerial spots, but then you got to the board of directors and there were 2 out of 25.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, so they put that glass ceiling in a spot where women feel like they can really achieve something, but not the something they should be able to achieve, and it's really unfair. But more importantly, Kim and I are a big network of support for women escaping abusive relationships.
Mhm.
We work with a network of shelters and agencies that help women disappear so that they're not threatened by their former significant other. And that it keeps expanding, and we're not giving up on that. That is our
We
number one.
can't.
That is our number one
We can't.
philanthropic venture, so to speak, is making sure there is a safe harbor for women who want to get out of abusive relationships. And so that's.
And I have, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go right ahead, please.
I was going to say, and I have something very, very special for both of you towards the end of this.
Well, we're looking forward to
wow.
that.
Okay. I love surprises.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's get your opinion on women and saving for retirement and investing and finances.
I was raised by a dad that we were 3 sisters, 3 daughters. However, he raised us as 3 sons, Sam, Louie, and George. I'm the oldest. I was Sam. However, he always made sure he taught us what we needed to do, how we needed to do it, how to look for it. Even though he managed the funds for us, he taught us along the way. And that's critical. And, coming from back east, even though right now I'm in Tucson, lovely Tucson, Arizona, due to the COVID crisis.
Let me guess, you just flew in and your wings are tired.
Yeah, they are. But, these wings get me fairy godmother status along with book creator status. So it was great having that. When he passed, I felt at a loss because I had lost my guidance. I lost my North Star of, should I put the money here? Should I put the money there? And now I'm having to trust these men with my money. And what do I do? And how do I, well, not you, Adam, you I trust, but what do I do? Is this going to be better for me? Is that, and I'm not risk adverse. However, you have to make certain decisions and weigh things out. The other part of it is, a lot of women were raised not to talk about money. Money is like taboo. You don't ask anybody how much they make. They don't get to ask you. And it's like a subject that's off limits. It's the elephant in the room, but that they keep trying to push back into the closet and it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
There's a reason that I follow the women's movement. I grew up in a household of all women. I have 14 cousins, 13 of them are female. I have 2 sisters and 1 stepbrother. He couldn't even be born into the, we had to add one from outside to get another male in here. And so there's a good reason, because I've watched all of them get treated differently than I was treated. And I always felt that was wrong since I was very young. And that's why I'm so big in the women's empowerment movement, and why my services are there at all times. We had a young girl, Kim helped me with this case yesterday. This young girl
Oh
got
my goodness.
ripped
Yeah.
off really badly by an unscrupulous landlord. And now she's facing a collection that there's no way out of, because that landlord abused the rules but got away with it. And there's no way to go back in time and fix it. And so we're trying to fix it after the fact. And the fix
Right.
will never be as good after the fact, but it will be a fix. So we're working on that later today, hopefully. Now, Shira, I've got a surprise. See, in our vast database of questions, we've talked about books and publishing articles. Everyone knows that doctors open huge doors when they publish a medical finding, and scientists when they publish a new theory or any hypothesis they have in popular mechanics or modern science. But the fact of the matter is that having a published article or book in your name can open doors for you no matter what you do in life.
That's
Would you
true.
agree with that? I thought you'd agree.
Absolutely. And that's my mission, not just for women, for business owners.
So what I did was I put out a little video on my On Target Strategies channel, and I managed to secure a bunch of questions from viewers of that and from customers and clients alike, because I have tons of business clients, as does Kim. And we've put together 5 questions that appeal to your field of expertise. And Kim and I will chime in a little as well, because we do know a little bit about this, not nearly as much as you do, but we'll chime in as well. And we're going to discuss how publishing your own book can open a lot of different doors for new streams of income as far as recognition.
Yes.
All right. So if it's okay, Kim, I'm going to throw out the very first question today. I'm going to throw it out there.
Be my guest.
Okay, I'm ready.
Shira,
I've got my mitt on.
All right. Excellent. Because you're going to answer this one first, and then Kim and I will chime in after. So here we have Rhonda out in San Francisco, California. And she's asking, how can having a book or article published help me in my business life?
Ooh, that's one of my favorite and juiciest questions. Thanks, Adam. So first things first, writing a book will absolutely open doors. Here's why. When you write a book, all of a sudden you are now an expert authority on that subject, whatever the subject is. It provides instant credibility. And when people, let's say, follow your process, your system, your protocols, your inspiration, whatever it is, you now become a celebrity to them. So if they meet you someplace, it's, ooh, can I have your autograph, please? It's true.
It makes sense.
Yeah. In terms of opening doors, here's the thing. This is one tip most people don't realize. The money is not in the books. Yeah, if you could get Penguin or Random House or Simon & Schuster, the big tier 1 publishers, to publish your book, yes, you'll make good money on the book. But the number of people you have to have in your social media trail right now, even 135,000 followers is not enough to get a book deal with the tier 1 publishers. So what is everybody to do? And let's face it, the 3 of us know 135,000 is awesome, even 35,000. But that's not enough for them. So they're left with, what do we do? Well, there are people like me with a lot of integrity that can help you create and write the book, publish the book, and then market it, because all the money is made on the marketing. So for example, I have a gentleman friend of mine that I do business with, and he increased his revenue, his closing sales ratio, and the amount of revenue he made by over 30%. just by having a book.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. It opens doors, like I said, in expert authority. You now become, you're sought after to speak at conferences, maybe to be a panelist to start, and then eventually grow into a keynote speaker or a primary stage speaker at a large conference when we're allowed to come back. Even online now, the online conferences, they're all looking for multiple speakers. The virtual summit area and field is huge. I mean, that's
And it
just
pays
so,
pretty well when you're
it
invited
does,
by
it depending upon which ones you end up on.
I've
Right.
personally, just so everyone knows, I have personally been paid as much as $2,000 for a 35-minute speech.
Easy.
I do
Easy.
public speaking. I've
Right.
done it for 26 years, and I've spoken to audiences as big as 3,000 Chase employees and audiences as small as 6 people in a boardroom, where I came in to give, my expert advice on their sales procedures.
Mhm.
So I'm used to public speaking. It doesn't scare me. I don't believe in stage fright. I believe in stage might, because you have all the power when you're the person on the stage, and publishing your book gets you that step closer to being where you have stage might instead of stage fright.
Right. And one of the great ways to promote yourself is to have somebody like Adam and Kim invite you to their podcast because you have a book and you're the author of a book.
Sure.
And they'll ask you to come and talk about your particular topic or subject matter so that you can help people move forward. So it's very much a right hand, left hand polarity, help each other, wash each other's hands, take care of each other.
That's
You're
how we found
absolutely
that's how we found a guest who's coming up in a few weeks. Katrina Roddy, a friend of yours.
Yes, she calls me Dr. Siri.
Well,
When we
because she is
first
the
met, that's
author,
what she called me.
because she's the author of 2 books, and those books deal with everything Kim and I deal with, we invited her as a guest. So there's your case in point right there. Let me throw it to Kim because I know she has something to say on this.
Well, Dr. Shira, you're absolutely right. And people don't think of the book is actually your vehicle to get to other places. And you think of, oh, I'm an author and I'm going to sell this book and everybody's going to buy it and it's going to become the #1 bestseller, even if I put it up on Amazon. But you're right. It's the vehicle that gets you to the speaking engagements. Yes, it does kind of get you up a notch on the expertise level, but it's the vehicle to get to the other places.
Yes, it's a tool to generate more business. The gentleman that I spoke about earlier that increased his sales and his closing by almost 30% or more, every time he sits down at a deal, he sits down with his book. It's already autographed. And he says, when you sign the contract, you'll get a complimentary autographed copy of the book. And the people are so excited. And
Sure.
it just lends itself. And, in the old days when the publishers paid big bucks for it and everybody's dream was to be, a New York Times bestseller, right now that costs between $250,000 and $500,000,
Wow.
if not more, to be a New York Times bestseller. But we can practically guarantee 99.9% that you'll be a #1 Amazon bestseller because we know how to do that.
Which is incredible, because everybody lives on Amazon these days.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Jeff
Now-
Bezos knew what he was doing
You sure
Well,
did.
way back before we did.
Right. He
Him
learned from
and
his
Steve
mistakes.
Jobs.
Remember, he started as a bookseller. That was his primary goal
Yep.
when Amazon
Right.
opened. All they sold was books.
Mhm.
And
But-
every day I thank God for Jeff Bezos.
I don't
Just
know.
saying,
I don't
folks,
know.
it's
I don't-
not political. Let's make
Right.
sure of that. It's not a
Right.
political thing. It's just the bookseller mindset. That's all.
I totally get it. And people have to understand too that once you write the first book, it becomes easier to write the second. And when you've built a library, look at some of the most successful authors of our lifetime who are mainstream. So I'm not talking about, fiction, nonfiction. I'm talking just mainstream authors. Stephen King is a
Mhm.
good example. You know, we all grew up, he's our age range. We all grew up around Stephen King and his novels being translated to movies, and he's written something like 75 books.
Right.
And everybody knows at least half the titles of all of them. Um, if you look at that, what happens is your recognition grows with each book. So it's not just a one and out thing. Yes, that one book opens a lot of doors, but when you have a 3-book series or you have 4 books out there for different things you do, like I do a whole bunch of different things. I do debt relief. I'm a paralegal. I'm a marketing strategist, and I'm a branding expert. So I do 4 different things. What if I had a book for each one? And if I do that, then in every single field that I endeavor in, I have that, exactly what Shira was saying. I have that backup of, hey, I'm an expert. Here's my book, and I'll autograph it for you. But I wrote a book on this subject. And that's something we all grew up with. Oh, he wrote the book on that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, very true. Now,
So-
you know, you just mentioned something so important, Adam.
I
I have
try.
a client who wrote 3 books. We wrote a series together. She's the author, but I did it with her. And let's see if I can do this. We'll do it this way. It started out Raising Assholes, and it's a full series. There's 3 books in the initial series. We're working on book 4 now. 5 and 6 are already slated.
I take
but
it her child has Asperger's.
Yes, yes. And she works with them. She's a licensed mental health family therapist out of the Sacramento area. Her name is LaFaya Mitchell. And she works, you should interview her. She should be on yours, and I'll make that connection later. See how easy it is, folks? It's so easy to be done.
Now,
Anyway, the beauty is she's written 3 books. We're now working on a 4th, 5th, and 6th, just because she works with the Sacramento Police Department. She's in great demand working with parents of children with autism and Asperger's, and she works with the most difficult ones that nobody can fix.
Now, here's the fun part. That book you helped her publish, the first one, got her invited onto morning radio shows, got her in the spotlight. And I know who you're talking about because she has an article in a Sacramento paper that she does once a month. My wife reads that column because she's very much in, she studied psychology in school. She's very much into, you know, understanding Asperger's and autism better. And I know Miss Mitchell's work. I don't know her personally, but I know her work.
Well, you're going to get to know her personally. And she even has, listen to this, she's got a Facebook group. She does lives. She does Q&As every Friday night at, I think, 6 o'clock. I think it's Pacific time. You know, with all the time zone changes, I don't know what time anything is anymore. I just go zone to zone as I require.
What's time? I don't
know. Time doesn't exist.
The pandemic took time away. Time doesn't exist.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
However, my point is we've taken her from being a licensed mental family, counselor, therapist, to now a nationally known name, nationally recognized. Celebrity.
Outstanding. Outstanding. And it was that vehicle that took her to these new heights.
And she has no idea we're talking about her. When I call her and tell her, guess what? She's going to be thrilled.
That's good, because Kim is going to lead you into question 2, which picks up right where we just left off.
I am.
Great.
And this is from Jerry in South Carolina. I love talking to people, but I can't write. So how can I write a book?
Jerry, here's what I'd like to know. Can you talk? Can you speak? If you can talk or you can speak, you too can have a book. That's one of my specialties, because that's why they call me the book creator, not the book writer. We go ahead and create your book through talking. You don't ever have to write a word. Well, maybe a few in a list in the beginning, but you don't have to sit there and form whole elaborate sentences and worry about grammar and spelling. We've got editors for that. You see the wings?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're your fairy godmother of books. I don't know, maybe that should be the new moniker. I don't know, Adam. What do you think?
And you have guides that have godmother in that title, correct.
Yes, I do. I
Yep,
do. I
yep.
do.
Yep.
I'm loving this episode. This is fun. Jerry, I'm going to answer your question real simple. I want you to look this up on Netflix or whatever movie streaming network you may have. And I want you to look up Tuesdays with Maury, and I want you to watch the movie.
Oh, yes.
And then come back and ask that question again, because the book, Maury, the book in that movie is written by someone who ends up dying at the end of the movie, but his book is
Oh,
not
Adam,
written.
you just
It's
gave
not a
away
spoiler
You just
alert.
gave away the
Everybody,
ending.
everybody
spoiled the
knows
movie.
this one. This is like, giving away the Sixth Sense. Everybody already knows this. This has been in a million spoiler alerts. But the whole point is, Maury never wrote a word, but
Nope.
his book is out
Mhm.
there.
Yep. And here's the thing. One of the things I found, even though we're joking about talking and speaking the book and doing it that way, one of the things that some people do have difficulty with is organizing their thoughts. It's
Right.
not so much what do I write about or how do I write it. It's getting your thoughts organized in such a way that you have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And what do we put in? What do we take out? How do I address this? How do I approach that? And we do it all through talk.
I got
We
you.
do it all through talk. And some of the coolest things that happen when we do it through talk, and I got to share this, is that who you were before you wrote the book and who you are once you're standing there holding that book in your hand. It has just arrived on your doorstep. You open that box. Such a transformation occurs. Even when you get to see the cover laid out, because you've got to see the cover before we put it out, and you see your name in print on that cover, a huge transformation. You're just not the same human being you were when you started. And people just thank me. And yeah, I get paid for doing this, but what really juices me is that phone call with the smiles and the tears and the joy of
Now,
going.
it's really funny. You just said you get paid for doing it, right? You just said
Yeah.
that. And the next question, I'm going to tell you what it is, because it's really funny that you said that, because Jenny in Maine wanted to know, if I write a book, how much will it cost me?
Well, Jenny, that's a loaded question. So I'm going to answer. Let me tell you, that's the biggie. That's
Well,
the million.
you could answer it the way lawyers answer questions.
Which is?
There's only one answer. They teach you this in law school. The answer to every question when you're a lawyer is, it depends.
That was what I was going to say, and I didn't even know that's how we were going to go. So in honor of Adam, it depends. So if you want a ghostwriter to interview you and go off and be for 6 months away in an isolation, maybe talk to you occasionally, that could cost you as little, and I'm saying real low end, somebody just starting out, maybe 20,000. That's just to write it. Upwards of 200,000 of people that already have New York Times bestsellers, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a very wide berth of dollars if you want a ghostwriter to sit and write it. Most of my clients are solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, corporate executives, even fairy godmothers call me so they can get their book out. And I'm more of a hybrid, because some people go, oh, you're a ghostwriter. And I'm like, no. I call myself a collaborative editor or a collaborative ghostwriter if you really have to attach it. But I don't write anything. I take your words. We edit them. We fatten up where needs to be plumped. We thin down what needs to be thinned in terms of the content. And that can run you, depending upon what you want in terms of the writing, the publishing, and the bigger piece at the back, what we call the back end, is the marketing. So that can run you anywhere from 25,000 upwards of 100,000 or even more, depending upon what you want to do with the book. Now, I do have a very special project going on right now. And for about 1/10 of the price, that would be, oh, what, 2,000, 2,500, right in that area, you can become an author in 90 days without writing a word, meaning by July 4th weekend, you could be an author. And this is special just for women. So I have an event coming up Monday night. It is absolutely free to all the listeners that would like to attend. And I'm going to talk about how you can become an author in 90 days without writing a word. The subject is going to be unapologetically women, and the details will be forthcoming, but women have to really stop apologizing and saying they're sorry. It just has to be. So that'll be 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. And Adam will handle getting the information to you through this so that you're welcome to join us on Zoom. And I will talk about all the details. And here's
The
the
info
special.
will be in the description box below this video.
Great. And here's the special part that Kim and Adam don't know. Every time I do a collected works project such as this, where we have a lot of different authors coming in and participating, should you choose, a percentage of the net profit will be donated to the organizations and nonprofits that Adam and Kim support for women that have been abused or are having difficulty. So I will be writing a check in honor of them. And every single time I do one like this, I mean, I donate off of every single book I work on, individual authors. But when I do a group like this, a major charity nonprofit will be benefited from it, and that'll all be in the book. So I just want you to know that's my gift, because it's International Women's Month, and we've got to stop apologizing for being women.
That is amazing. Thank you so much. That is just unbelievable. And yes, we're going to work to get this out sooner rather than later so that we can get more people in attendance. And I cannot wait to be on that. I will clear my calendar.
You get to be there with us, Kim. So
yes.
The other thing is that I do different series. Each one has a theme. So if this is something that is of interest to you, and maybe this topic isn't your topic, maybe it is, we'll take men and women writing about it, but it's more about women, for women, by women. So right. I think, yeah, we're going to have to make it an all-woman book, but maybe we'll dedicate it to a special man that has a special place in our heart that helps a lot of women and empowers women.
You never know.
My contact information will be here. So if you want information and all that.
Right. I'll be pushing an email, phone number, everything, website for Dr. Bush at the bottom of this in the description box. We always include our guests' info so they can be contacted.
And don't forget my Clubhouse and my new podcast that's coming up.
Yeah, I know. In fact, I'll be helping you with that later today.
Yes, you will.
Right after the Tony P event, I've got to work with Kim and I've got to work with you.
Totally.
So it's going to be a long, long evening. Afternoon.
Yes, it is.
I think Kim has question number 4 ready to go.
I do. Yep. This has been so great. Donnie in North Dakota. I don't know if I can find enough info about me or my subject for an entire book.
Oh, this is one of my favorite questions. Because you see, you don't have to necessarily have content. Here's how you can have content. Many years ago, this is an honest to truth. This is an honest story. A group of people were sitting and talking, and the question came up is, how much do men really know? One of the women got really smart and went to publish a book. And the title of the book, What Men Know. It had a cover page. It had
I
a
was just
copyright page. Kim knows what's coming. The rest of it was blank.
See how many
It's
pages.
so-
All
was
right,
it?
wait. I got to ask Kim and Shira. I got to ask you guys a question, just so I can be clear on this. If a man goes out into the desert all by himself and says something, and there's no one there to hear him, is he still wrong?
Yes,
Well, first of all,
it depends. Wait,
we
it
would we
depends.
would hear him. I would hear him. My husband can be on the other side of the room having a conversation, and I know exactly what he's saying.
I just wanted
So-
to know because I actually bought my dad that shirt about 5 years ago on Father's Day and sent it to him. And his wife got my stepmother. She got the biggest laugh of her life when he put that shirt on. If a man says something in the desert and he's all alone and no one is there to hear him, is he still wrong? And
It
she just called me
depends.
up. She called me up. No. She's not a lawyer. She called me up and she said, the answer to your gift is yes.
Yeah,
Dr.
you're
Shira,
heard.
I have a unique situation because I too was brought up in an all-girl family, 2 younger sisters myself. So we did all the girly things, and my dad was left out to be the man by himself in the household. But yet in my household, I'm a boy mom. I have 3 boys. So
Wow.
I'm the only girl in my family. So I pull back on a lot of those memories of how I was raised, and my husband is like, and they're not girls, they're boys. So I can relate to both sides.
In
Yeah.
all seriousness, that trick's been done, but it sold millions of copies. It was
Well,
the
of
talk
course.
of TV talk shows, you
Okay,
name
That's
wait.
it.
hilarious.
1953, you know about the book in 1953. The book was 3 pages long. Okay, the first page was the credits and the introduction, and the last page was the footnotes. And the one page in the middle said, once upon a time, there was a boy and a girl who had an adventure and they lived happily ever after. And that was the book.
That's it. Yep,
And I
that's one
read
of
this.
them.
I
Yeah.
read this.
Beginning,
Yes.
middle, and end.
It's all
Yes.
there. Everything's
It's
there.
all there.
Once upon a time, there was a boy and a girl. They had a big adventure and lived happily ever after. The end. That
is
book
true.
sold 343,000 copies.
Wow.
Okay, at $2 a book, because back
There's
then
a
books were
market
cheap. But
for everything.
yes, I bring
Wow.
up the pet rock almost every episode. So
Oh, yes, we've got to talk about the pet rock. So if you're going to talk about the pet rock, how do you fill your book? Well, it would be very heavy if we taped a pet rock to every page. However, we've got another version of the pet rock. So what you can do, there's several different ways. If you've got a particular topic in mind that you're very fond of and you want to write about. Now, let me qualify something. I do not do novels. I do not do fiction. I only do business, nonfiction, real world. There can be a memoir component to it in terms of telling your story, in terms of the inspiration. How and big N, capital A, capital N, capital D, is that you can go ahead and interview people and ask them questions. And that can be your book. Okay. You can ask people to write. There's a book coming out shortly, but I'm not at liberty to discuss the details of it. But there's a book coming out where a particular subject was put out to a group. And if you were invited to write your personal story of how this type of situation affected you or your family, and you could write the book, write the chapter, and then the primary author is going to be fully responsible for publishing the book. However, you get credit as an author because you've written a section of the book, a chapter, if you will. Okay. There are a lot of different ways you can slice it and dice it so that you can have a book. You can set it up as a case study book on a particular topic. So for example, you were talking about the young lady that was struggling with what a landlord did. Kim, you could have a book very easily of 12, 15, 20 case studies you'd prepare the whole thing, let's say with me, what we could say legally, what we couldn't, you would handle all of that. But right, and we would change the names to protect the guilty, let alone the innocent.
Yep.
We have to. And you could write a book on that to help other people get out of that type of trouble if they're not able to access you, or at least get them started or give them ideas of how they can fight. And if they lose, they still can come to you and get the help, because let's face it, you wrote multiple case studies about how to do it, and you've got her fixed. Not her, the problem.
Right.
That's what's so wonderful
Yeah.
about nonfiction is there are so many directions it can go. It can go anthological, an anthology of different people that do the same thing and different views on a single subject. It can go theoretical. It can go, there's literally 100 different highways that you can take to a nonfiction, semi-autobiography, like you said, semi, because it's not your biography. It's your biography pertaining to what you do.
Correct.
So you're connecting your business life with your personal life and how the two became one.
Right. And then to monetize that, because that's the big piece, is now that you've got the book out there, can you provide online education programs? Can you provide coaching? Can you provide professional services like you and Kim do, both in finance and,
Credit,
debt recovery and all of that, so that it's not just, here I wrote the book and yes, I'm an authority, but people want you. They want to be able to talk to you. They want to be able to reach out, in essence, and touch you, even if we're having to do it virtually and staying 6 feet apart.
Right.
But the idea is they want more of what you've got, so that they can you're making a difference in their life. So one of my specialties, separate of being able, my superpowers, I should say, to figure out what your book needs to be about and create the context and the content for it from a simple concept. Even if you show up to my door saying, I've had this idea that I've thought about forever, and I think I really want to write a book. We can take you from that germ all the way through, and also figure out how you're going to monetize it if that's something you'd like to do. And then my background is adult education and educational leadership and organizational development. I can figure out how to write an entire program for you, and will help you do that so that you can go ahead and make the money you so richly deserve. So the book is a godsend, a tool, and it's magic. I'm all about the magic.
This has
Voila.
been unbelievable, because this has taken on a whole new meaning for what I thought writing a book is about. And this is huge. And right off the top of my head, I can think of 8 people that I know would like to write a book or should write a book. So we're definitely going to be speaking further.
Oh, there's no doubt we have
after the
one
show.
question left, and I get
Yep.
to ask it.
Yep.
Oh, wait,
we do.
before I'll throw something else in. If anybody contacts me directly and tell me that you heard about me through Kim and or Adam and this podcast, there will be a nice little discount and extra money sent to the women's abuse nonprofit for you guys. So be sure to let me know that you heard about me from these guys, so money can go. Money just keeps flowing. It's a form of energy. The book is a form of energy.
I've explained this in articles and in talks, that money that you put out will always come back to you. And
Tenfold.
it stops
Yes.
when you stop putting it out there.
Yes.
It's the Scrooge, it's called the Scrooge effect.
I don't like calling it the Scrooge effect. I like my mentor. I used to do something and I didn't have words for it. Miss Mouth, didn't have words, but I didn't have a context within which to wrap it. So whenever I would decide that I wanted to do something, like hire a personal trainer or do a specific educational coaching program or something that was expensive or was costly, it might not, expensive is relative, but it cost a significant amount of money of what I had at the time. I always said yes and was told, say yes, figure it out later. Say yes, figure it out later. You want a book? Say yes. We'll figure it out for you. I promise. I always do. Now, here's the interesting part. My mentor described it all I would call my mentor and go, oh my God, it's magic. Within 24, 48, the longest I ever had to wait was 72 hours for the money to show up to have it to pay. Whether it was a monthly payment, a lump sum payment, 72 hours was the longest I ever had to wait. And it would just show up and I'd call and go, oh my God, it's magic. It's magic.
Yeah, if you stop focusing on it and you stop trying, it's like relationships when you're single. The minute you stop trying, you find what you're looking for.
Yeah, it was great. And I would go, okay, universe, if this is meant to be, I'm putting it in your hands. I'm done. And I would stop thinking about it because up until that point, I would be, how am I going to pay for it? How am I going to pay for it? How am I going to? And then I would just let it go, give it up to the universe, God, spirit, higher power, whatever you want to call it. Just give it up and the universe will take care of it. And if it doesn't, it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't supposed to happen.
I call it Barbara.
Barbara.
Why not?
Okay.
My pet rock's name is Rocky. All right, let's get this last question going.
Okay, let's get the last question in for the listeners.
You're gonna love where it comes from. This one's coming from Delaware, from someone named Lara. Lara in Delaware wants to know, if I have a book published, how many different venues can I get my book into? Stuff like Amazon, Barnes and Noble, things of that nature. How many different places can that book appear?
Wow, unlimited. And here's why I view it as unlimited. There are 16 Amazon platforms worldwide. There is Barnes and Noble. And then there are booksellers all across the country that we don't even know the names because they're small, mom and pop, regional, organizations. But the best part is there is a database out there that all books go to. So that is like the ultimate. Besides, here's something cool. When we do the copyright page, all the disclaimer and all the legal beagle stuff that we have to put in so that we can publish.
That tiny paragraph right there on page 2 of the book.
We get you a Library of Congress number. So your book goes into the Library of Congress, as well as the ultimate, what I call it, the World Library database, that every book is listed and people can just go to it.
So that's a wonderful answer, unlimited. And it really is unlimited because I'm going to tell people a little secret. The more you're willing to put into yourself, the more you'll get out of the endeavor you embark on.
Yes.
So let's say I were to go to Dr. Shira and we get a book done on Atom and USFA. And I get it onto Amazon and I get it onto barnesandnoble.com, but I may not have the push to get it into their stores, but it will definitely be in their inventory list because it can be taken and drop shipped and whatever.
Oh, would you like to have a book signing at Barnes and Noble? We can
not
arrange
hard.
that.
Yeah, that's not hard. That's actually easy. Barnes and Noble loves having those because it brings people into their store. But if you're willing to market yourself and you go out to every thrift store in the area and you go out to every consignment store in your area and you tell them, look, I don't want you to buy my book and resell it. I want to put 3 of them on your shelf. Just 3 copies on your shelf where you have your books. And if they sell, then you pay me for them. That's consignment sales. That's what that's called. And it can be done anywhere. It can be done at your local Walgreens as long as the manager at Walgreens says yes. They're actually not, this is the truth.
Oh, Adam, you're taking some of my secrets away and
They're
telling
not
them.
secrets. Okay,
They're just
they're not. So,
unknown.
remember
They're
what you
just
said about not saying you're
facts.
sorry? I
Yes.
don't believe that things that should be common knowledge should be kept secret. And this is not secret. It's anyone who does sales knows every one of these venues.
Yes,
But
that is true.
the fact of the matter is, if you're willing to do the work, as they say when I was a kid, and I grew up in the 60s and 70s, okay, we were told to hit the bricks, which meant get on your two legs, walk, and talk to people. That's how we did sales. I did door-to-door sales of two different products. I won't name them because I'm not plugging them, but I did sales door-to-door.
I'm going to plug one. I was a Girl Scout. It's Girl Scout cookie time.
That
and-
one you can plug. I have no problem
And
with that.
that one is important, and you need to go buy your Girl Scout cookies. I do.
Yes.
I don't eat them. I give it back and say, give it to somebody. If you run into some homeless people or whatever, go ahead and give them my box of cookies. Donate it to wherever you want, because
But
I'm not
if-
going to eat the
Right.
cookies.
If you want,
But
the
they're my
recognition-
favorite.
Right. What I'm trying to say, I'm a big fan of Girl Scout cookies. There are two particular. I'm not a Thin Mint
What-
fan, believe it
What
or
are
not.
you?
I love the coconut fudge.
Yeah.
Those
You mean
cookies
the
are the soft.
samosas?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
the
You gotta
samosas.
freeze them, Adam, and then
I've
break
done
them
that too. I've done
and
that
break
too.
them over ice cream.
Yes, but I also like them because they're chewy. I like soft baked
Yes.
cookies
I like them because they're chewy.
and the
What's
peanut
the other
butter.
one?
The
I
peanut
like the
butter.
peanut butter too.
Peanut butter
Yep.
too, the tag-alongs.
Yep, the
the
tag-alongs.
tag-along
We
and the
didn't have all
trefoils
those
for me.
flavors back then.
No, there were two in the beginning. There was the oatmeal. There was the Thin Mints, which is the signature cookie of the Girl Scouts.
Right, and the Lorna Doone shortbreads that look like the
Yes.
trefoil
Yeah, the
from the
trefoils.
Scouts.
And then
That's
they
my
added an
favorite.
oatmeal raisin, which went away because nobody
Right,
ever wanted
yeah.
to buy it.
Yeah, no.
I've watched the development of Girl Scout cookies. My stomach knows them way too well. But yeah, again, you get back what you put in. So, you get your book published, you get that box that Shira was talking about with your whatever, 5, 10, 20, 100, whatever number of copies that you ordered for yourself. Okay, for family,
Yeah, it is
friends.
print
and other
on
things.
demand, so you don't, it's no longer the world of 2,000 copies that take up your
Yeah.
entire garage. We print on demand, so you can order as little as 5, 10, whatever you want as you need. You just shoot us an
Right.
email. We have
Right.
you will take your credit card and off you go.
And then voila, you decide where you want to start marketing your book. Shira can help you with a marketing strategy. I know that for a fact.
Oh, yes.
She has very, very specific marketing strategies depending on the type of book and subject matter. And that's why she's like, we can get you to #1 on the Amazon bookseller, because she knows the formula that works for that type of book on one of those 16 platforms to get you to #1. If for absolute minimum for a day, but maybe longer. You never know. Depends on the
never
subject.
know.
Yeah. You could be #1 for a month or a year, or it all depends. But you can make sure your book is recognized more by just doing a little bit of work. That same work you do for the business or the endeavor. I wouldn't say business because not everyone's in a business, like you were talking about Miss Mitchell, and it's not a business for her, it's an endeavor for her. It's her life study and work. It's her
a
calling
for her.
It's her calling, right?
Truly a
But
calling.
it's not a
Right.
business per se. It's in a field, but it's not a business per se. She has this calling to help people in that situation, dealing with children with Asperger's and with autism.
Autism.
So I just want to finish the thought here is, if she wants more recognition, she can decide to spend a day calling where she wants her book to be. Let's say the Hunter School of Social Work, okay, which is one of the greatest social work schools in the country in New York.
Absolutely.
And she wants to make sure her book, 2 or 3 copies of it, are in their library for those studying in social work and specializing in autism and Asperger's. A few calls and a little bit of hold time, and you get that head librarian there and you tell them, look, I'm donating 2 copies of my book to the Hunter School of Social Work. But then she has that little tagline at the bottom: you can find my book at the Hunter School of Social Work. That gives even more credibility on top of being the author, on top of being in the field. So the more you put in, the more you'll get out. That's all I'm trying to say, but I'm trying to exemplify it.
Yeah. Now, what you're saying is so true. And I want to put something out there, because one of the big questions I get is, well, I'll self-publish. It's less expensive.
Mhm.
Well, let me tell you, I cannot tell you how many people call me going, I started down that route, and let me tell you, it was a bottomless pit. Not financially. It's not about that. It's not about the money.
No, it's about the
Here's
time.
my view. You do what you do well. You're an expert at whatever your field is, an entrepreneur, a business person, even a corporate executive.
Mhm.
Most people barely have enough time to spend time with their family, do their work, and then still put their head down on their pillow at night, knowing that business is taken care of. So what ends up happening is you're going to end up losing sleepless nights. Did I do this on the layout? Did I do this in the editing? Did I do this for this? Oh my God, what about that? And then it sends it back because you didn't push the bright buttons, you didn't set it up properly, and you're sitting there and you're bald like Adam because you pulled your hair out of your head, not like Adam does because he chooses to. Okay. But my point is, the self-publishing route may work, but if you're a busy professional and you want it done so you can put your head down on the pillow, know that it's done right. Economically, it's actually smarter to do this because you don't have to worry, and we do it with you and for you. It's a partnership. We're here for you. We're not going anywhere. We've been around for years. So don't necessarily rely on yourself if your forte isn't doing layout and design and editing and getting it up and putting stuff in and taking stuff out. Call me, we'll fix it. Anywhere you, we'll meet you anywhere you are in the process.
You ready?
So
You
for
ready to watch Shira
example,
laugh? Go ahead, give your example first, and then I'm going to make you laugh by asking Kim a question.
okay. So if you've written a book already, we'll talk to you, we'll edit, we'll publish, we'll market if that's what you need. If you've already got a published book and you're struggling on how to market it and how you can build a program and make money and really truly monetize it, call us. We'll meet you wherever you are in the process and support you to excel, to achieve your dreams. Because you know what? By you achieving your dreams, you're helping somebody else and you're making a difference in their life to achieve their dreams.
Possibly hundreds of people too.
Exactly.
Hundreds of people.
It's so many different levels of support that you offer.
All right.
Yeah,
so
we do. We really, really do. I have an amazing team. And I realized the other day, it's all women.
Imagine that.
It didn't dawn on me. I have no men. It's all women. The editors are women. The layout is women. The publishing house that I work with is all women. All her staff is women. It's all women.
There's nothing wrong with that. But
No.
here comes my great question. All right.
Oh, go ahead, Adam.
I'm going to ask Kim a question.
Yes,
Okay?
Adam.
She's over here. Okay, here we go. No,
She's
very
up there.
simple. Kim, do you know how to cook steaks?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could cook steaks, right?
Yeah.
And each steak would cost about $8, give or take, at your supermarket.
Right.
And
Good
there's
steaks.
there's decent steaks, top sirloin. We won't even go into the big, New York strip and all the others. We'll just stick with top sirloin. You can get those for about $8 or $9 a steak. And
Okay.
you know how to cook them.
Mhm.
All right, that's fine. And there's 5 people eating dinner at your table, right? If
Correct.
everybody's home.
Correct.
Have you guys ever gone out to a restaurant to have steak?
Yes.
Yeah, and it costs 4 times as much.
At least. Yeah.
This is what Shira was just talking about when you take the self-publishing route versus
yeah.
the Shira Bush route. And
yeah.
I'm just giving the example here in terms that everyone can understand.
Absolutely.
Can you self-publish? Yes. Do you want to do that every single time? No. You see, for Kim to cook that steak dinner with the baked potatoes and the broccoli and everything else that goes with it might take an hour or two to get it all done for 5 people.
Right.
And maybe Kim is busy with clients all day and doesn't have an hour or two to spare. Like Shira was saying, you're a corporate executive. You've got a business to run. You've got employees to worry about. You've got a family to worry about. You're juggling 20 things already. And now you're doing editing, layout, grammar checks, all this other, God, there's 100 things that go into a book. But the point is simple. Could you do it yourself? Sure. Should you do it yourself? Maybe. Do you really want to do it yourself? No. Just like
Not with all
fixing
the
your car.
research. Yeah, all the research that has to go into figuring out how to do it. I mean, you can learn anything on the internet these days, but
So,
the time it's going to take me to learn it, you're absolutely right.
most people
I
are willing
have
to pay.
something called the effortless writing blueprint.
And it's kept in a safe. But
Which I
wanna-
need. I need
people
that.
are people are readily willing to pay 5 times, minimum 5
Yes.
times, what it costs them to make a meal at home to go have it in a restaurant. So why
Oh,
on earth
absolutely.
wouldn't you?
Besides, I don't want to do dirty dishes. Do you, Kim? I mean, after
Don't-
all that, I don't want to be doing dishes.
Here's a
Well,
perfect
that-
example, grocery
true.
shopping. I was going to go grocery shopping. Every day I've had to go grocery shopping, but I haven't gone grocery shopping. And in the middle of being in the middle of a move, I don't want to stock up my cupboards and my refrigerator with food that I have to move. And it's
And
just
that
a
will
pain in the
spoil
ass.
en route. And yeah.
But I thought, okay, I could pay $10 and sit here at my computer for 10 minutes and order all of my groceries and pay
Instacart
$10
time.
because I can make more than $10 by working rather than going grocery shopping.
Correct.
So
That's the key. You'll make more money relaxed, even paced, even keeled, calm,
yes,
doing what you do best, knowing that I and my elves, or fairies, I should say, are handling everything for you so that you get to spend time with your family. You get to make the money you're entitled to make and do what you need to do, and also have the book delivered to your doorstep at your home or
Yeah.
office, wherever.
we are
We ship
definitely
all over.
we're definitely going to be speaking, and I definitely have a few people that I'm sending this video to, this episode, telling them you need to
This
watch
is their-
this,
this is their
and then you need
opportunity.
to call Dr. Shira. Yeah, I definitely will have some people on that event that you're speaking about. I'm excited.
I'm looking forward to it. We'll have a lot of fun on Monday night. It's a girls' night. Adam, if you'd like to attend, you are more than welcome as our guest. However, it's girls' night.
I appreciate that so much, but I'll be watching Elite All-Star Wrestling. Um,
Okay.
I want to do a guy thing while
Yeah,
all you
you
girls
go
are meeting on
Do
Monday.
your guy thing.
On that note, we're going to start to wrap this up. So, Shira, all of your information, you're going to send me a complete packet of all your
You
information.
got it all already.
And I'm going to put it there in the description box so that everyone who sees this video can reach you to discuss how to become an author. And I'll say it your way: how to become an author in 90 days without writing a word.
That's it.
Call the book creator and let her put you on her wings and fly you to authorship.
Ooh, I like that. I'm going to take that one. Thank you, Adam.
I'm a branding expert, remember?
Yeah, I know, me too, but still.
I can come up with a tagline in 20 seconds for just about anything.
Yeah,
I
I
can
think
for everybody else.
20
did
seconds
for me.
after Adam and I met, he said, "Have you ever thought of cruising into a better financial future?" And here we are.
We are cruising into a better financial future with books.
Every week. And in
Yep.
fact, we're
Yep.
going to have double episodes for a couple of weeks coming up.
Mhm.
We're going to be doing 2
Yep.
episodes a week because we want to fill our library. So everybody look forward. We have some big names coming up. We have former CNN reporter Rafer Weigel coming up.
Mhm.
We have
Ooh.
Deanna Kumpel, the former model, also fashion.
Bodybuilder and
Bodybuilder.
podcast extraordinaire, good friend.
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Podcast, label-free podcast, no doubt about it. Living life label-free
Absolutely.
and living your best life label-free. She's coming up. On top of that, we have Katrina Roddy, who basically told corporate America, I can do it better than you can, and proved herself right.
Exactly.
We have some big names, some big guests coming up, and we didn't want them to wait months to be on, so we're going to be doing 2 episodes a week for the next couple of
Yep.
weeks, just
Ooh,
to
how
keep everybody in it.
exciting.
We have 3 different attorneys in 3 different levels of financial. One is a bankruptcy attorney, one is an enforcer of fair debt collection practices, fair credit reporting practices, and Fair Truth in Lending Act lawsuits.
Wow.
He does class action and individual lawsuits on these acts.
I'd
And
love to
then
write their books.
I'll
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
refer. One of them
Yep.
is right here in Phoenix. So
Yep.
I will definitely refer him over to you to see if he wants to do that. But we have 3 lawyers coming up. And at the end of April, I have my special episode coming up. And I know Kim's been reading up on this, where we are going to debate 50 people on screen. Hopefully, if I can get all 50 to say yes, but no less than 20 people on screen, all discussing how we fix capitalism by installing a universal basic income.
And the best way to make income so that you get to invest in your future, which was today's theme of our article, is writing a book. It'll open all the doors that you could ever want, that you could ever think of. I speak from experience.
If anybody has any questions, how do they reach us?
That's a good question. Carrier pigeon? No, that doesn't work.
It will
On the
work, but
back
it
of
will
my
just take
wings.
one
Facts.
With my
on the wings.
wings.
On the
No,
wings.
let's do it the easy way. They can email their questions directly to us at questions@cruisingintoabetterfinancialfuture.com. That's questions@cruisin, CRUZIN, cruisin into a betterfinancialfuture.com. And when you send your questions there, they will be answered by the expert that fits your question when they're on our podcast. In addition, you can always send your questions to Kim directly or me directly, as both of our information, our email addresses, are in that description box down here, right below where my finger's pointing, which right now is my foot, but that's okay.
And
I want to get out of this
will
black
be more
void.
than glad to give your listeners a complimentary consultation about their future as being an author.
Well, there you go.
So add that to the box
Outstanding.
underneath.
So Dr. Bush has said the following, okay? She's going to donate money to our favorite cause for everyone that gets into these programs that we've talked about today. She's going to give anyone who found out about her from our podcast a free consultation about writing their book. She's giving you the house. All you've got to do is say, yeah, I want to open the door. I mean, it's not
Exactly.
that hard. It's really not that hard, but yes. So I'm going to
Come
sign off
talk to me.
because I believe that all 3 of us are due at a special event where we're all
Yes, we
appearing
are.
together
Yep.
in 6 minutes. So
Oh, yes.
on that note, I'm going to say I'll see you all next week when we continue to cruise into a better financial future.
Thanks, everyone. See you next week.
Thanks.
All
Bye.
righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for being a part of Cruising into a Better Financial Future. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss a future episode. We'll see you next time. Bye.